Hi, this is Jerry Nowacki from Sedona, Arizona. And last week we created our first installment from the medical clinic of Oak Creek here in discussing the protocol that I've called the Square Wave Wellness Protocol. And in that first segment, I talked, in pretty generally about what the program is all about. Well, I'm going to fill in a few blanks today, and we'll keep moving forward the best we can. And as you all realize, these are short videos. They're 9 minutes. And if you have an interest in, what I talk about and what we are about, I'm going to give you websites and obviously contact information again, so you can call me and we can discuss any specific, again, questions or concerns or ideas that you have or any feedback at all. So anyway, let me fill in a couple blanks that I didn't do last week. One, again, my name's Jerry Nowacki, and I am a certified nutritional consultant. I also am a certified life coach. And I've got a background of about, give or take a little bit, about 40 years of personal and professional nutritional consulting and coaching. And I'm 57 years old, and again, I've been residing here in Sedona, Arizona for the last 14 years, and originally from New York, from Buffalo, New York. So, kind of giving you some basic information. I do want to fast forward things just a touch and tell you a little bit about why maybe I'm a little bit different, or we're a little bit different here, and why this protocol of Square Wave Wellness is really something you may want to consider for increasing the quality of your life and your health. One, everything that I do is based on science. There's no hocus pocus. We don't do crystal therapy here, and I'm not saying that these things aren't beneficial, but I'm more of a scientific mind. I used names like Nikola Tesla last week, Royal Rife, George Lakhovsky, Anton Priori. Well, these men in the field of electromagnetics are the tops in their field. You just need to do a little Google work, and you'll see that guys like Tesla have over 700 patents, and just about every light switch you turn on, driving your car, wireless communication, fluorescent lights. This guy was a master. He was basically written out of history. And the reason I'm going over some of this is for just personal credibility, because his name is basically written out of history. So I've used techniques that these men developed. And in those techniques, there's a lot of benefit to the human body. And that goes back to the electromagnetic field. But before I make any recommendations to detoxify the body and work with any types of energies at all, I use a tool by a company called Zyto Corporation. So if you go to zyto.com, you can go to Zyto's website and you can read about the balance tool, which is the tool that I work here to get an idea of a person's health and create an assessment. The tool shows stress in the spine. It shows stress in specific organs like the heart, the lungs, the liver, the kidneys, the gallbladder, etc. And it also shows a balance protocol, which is basically based on homeopathy to get the body back into bioalignment. So we use those types of tools, that type of tool exactly, to create an outline for a wellness protocol. Then from that point on, depending on where the client wants to go, and let's just say the system recommends some homeopathy, I typically will put them on the homeopathy, get them on the homeopathy for about a week, and then see how they're feeling and how they're doing, and then start recommending with some detoxification protocols. And in those detoxification protocols, I may integrate some balancing frequencies for specific organs like the liver, the gallbladder, the kidneys, the spleen, and so on and so forth. And in specific, it goes even into the endocrine system. So again, as I go forward with a client, everything is monitored, and about every 2 to 3 weeks we do another scan, update the scan, and again make sure that we're staying in alignment, and when I say alignment, that the client is feeling better and that we're making actual progress. If the client needs any other specific medical help, Dr. James Hutton, who is an associate of mine and who I work very closely with, he is always here on site. And before we go any farther, I always leave the final medical decisions up to a doctor. And as I've said before, I don't really heal anything, but I help get the body back in alignment so it can restart itself. Because again, if you go cut your hand, if you break a toe or a finger, you know, with proper nutrition and guidance, the body will just heal itself. It does take care of itself. People have asked me in the past, what are the negatives to this? And I want to repeat a portion of what I mentioned in our first video, is that the energy frequencies that are attached to this square wave pattern are the same frequencies that are emitted by the ignition system in your car. So that's how benign they are. The body just takes them in, it doesn't do anything with them, they kind of pass through. However, when you put other frequencies like a gallbladder or a kidney frequency on there, the body will integrate the energy for that specific organ. So it can be targeted very directly towards any system of the body. The other thing that this is doing is that in every cell you have a positive potassium and a negative chlorine element. Well, when you talk positive and negative, you're automatically talking about an electrical field. The average person, give or take a few trillion cells, has about 60 trillion cells. Those cells are all based on electronic energy. As cells get compromised through poor diet, poor mental states, stress, etc., these systems that I have can help relieve the stress on the body by building up the organ systems or the parts of the body, which could be the endocrine system also, that is typically taxed or laboring. So again, I want to be very, very clear with you all that the science end of this is pretty irrefutable. It works. It works on animals, it works on plants, it works on everything, because everything is vibrating within nature. So using the tools that I use, and again, this being talking about the Zyto tool to assess the overall condition of where a person has has any stress in the body, is really, really important. That tool there taps into the limbic center of the brain. And again, if you go on the website, you can read about it. Then as it's reading the limbic center of the brain, that's where the reason it's focused there is because that's where your emotions, emotional tendencies, and the record, the actual recorded record of any stress in your body or illness is recorded there. And then as the system assesses that, it runs the information against the meridians of the teeth and the spine, and the 5 Chinese elements. So you get a very comprehensive report. And what it really is like when I work with a client is like lining up all the blocks on a Rubik's Cube, or peeling an onion. We work on it a little at a time, so the person or the body does not get overwhelmed by trying to do too much at any one given time in bringing itself back to balance. You know, there's a saying that inch by inch things are a cinch, and yard by yard they get pretty hard. Well, we keep it down to the inch range because, again, people have busy lives. They they have to perform in other areas, with work and maybe they have hobbies and so on and so forth. So the bottom line here is that everything that I'm doing is, again, it has a scientific link to it. And in next week's video, we're going to get a little bit more involved in talking about digestive wellness and integrating how my systems work to balance the stomach, the small intestine, and the colon, the 3 most important parts of your body. Because if you're not digesting your food, if you're not eliminating the waste, there's a problem. And that's where, again, unfortunately, where many people have a challenge. So from Sedona, Arizona, Jerry Nowacki signing off for the Square Wave Wellness Protocol, and we'll catch up with you next week. And any feedback, www.squarewavewellness.com, or call me at 928-254-9335. Thanks a lot for viewing, and pass this along to your friends. Appreciate you being with us again today. Thanks. Bye.